US, also in Abidjan, where the Afghan what is it, tournament is going on, and the whole Africa is celebrating there and playing games, a big competition. We will also talk about that with our colleague George Leonard Sagnon. We want to thank you so much for joining us again. It's your host, Roger Muntu, aka DJ RM. We want to really, really thank you. You don't want to miss this show because we have an amazing guest tonight. Actually, I should say amazing guests tonight. So many, more than one. So relax and let's listen to Paint. Yeah, we got to paint it right tonight. That's right. Let's go. You're listening to the RM show at VOA Africa. This is your host, Roger Muntu, and it's always great, man, to know that so many of you guys are listening to us on social media and all over the places. And I want to thank you so much for sharing this video and sharing our great time that we have in this show, and also sending messages to all of those who help make, put this show together. And I want to thank you as well. Great show. I was telling you that because it's a crazy week, whatever's going on in the world, in Africa in particular. But great show because finally I get to see my guest, Mr. TZ. That's right, Mr. TZ, also known by the moniker San TZ, if I said it right, is
very successful.
I like when you say it became one of my biggest songs.
Yeah. Without me really like, I didn't really plan on it. Like, hey, this.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's not something that you were like, I know this song is gonna be big.
Yeah, nah. I just kind of. I have a studio at home, so I'm always recording. One of my producers back home sent me a beat. I said, all right. He sent me like a little melody with it. I just changed a little bit of the melody, the words, added my own flavor, sent it back, and then when I went to Tanzania, we did the official video. Now, everyone else that was listening was like, yo, this is like big. And I'm just like, it's a
Yeah.
normal song.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I didn't really say like, all right, I'm gonna write this about this topic or
Yes.
something. It was kind of just vibes.
Yeah.
How the beat made me feel. Felt like I was on the beach under the palm trees.
Yeah, man, you making me dreaming right now, man.
Yeah.
I'm dreaming about that. So, all right, we're gonna listen to it. But how would you describe your style of music? I know it's a little bit of everything, but you have like, would you say it's an R&B? Would you say it's one?
I don't know if I
Yeah.
would really put it in
There's
one
no way,
box.
right? That's exactly what I
because
thought, and that's the
it's-
reason why I'm asking this. Yeah.
But I would say, palm trees. That's my whole vibe. Like tropical.
I want to work
my
with you.
vibe. Yeah, that's my vibe.
I like it. Even Michelle feels it. I know Michelle feels that. Michelle, let's listen to this great song. Mr. TZ here. Let's go.
I wanna party, you wanna party, dancing up on me, girl move your body. Sasa mbobi no one, baby girl you acting naughty. From the left to the front to the back they wanna party. Girl show me loving,
the community kind of gave me that, Mr. Teasy, Mr. Teasy, Mr. Teasy, Mr. So I took that and I'm like, why don't I take that into my music too? So it turned, because I started music straight American hip hop, like just straight up American hip hop. But after a while, I started to fuse.
See, that's what I wanted to know, because you
Right.
started as just straight American hip hop, and at some point, and that's understandable, right? You're an American kid, born and raised here. It's understandable that that's also part of your culture. You know, you can't deny that.
Right.
But really, that turn that goes from there to that's where I was.
Yeah,
interested.
that turn came
Yeah.
from just, you know, I'm a very family oriented person. So I know, all right, I'm making music. My friends are listening to it, but I have family members back home listening to it too. I got my little cousins, I got my aunties, my uncles,
Correct.
you know what I mean?
Correct.
So how do I touch both
Yeah,
bases?
which can be tough for an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I started doing, I taking Afrobeat,
Yeah.
instrumentals,
Right.
but I'm flowing like an American kind of flow.
Nice.
And then I'm mixing the languages. I'll do English, Swahili.
Nice.
I'll try to put in some French in
Yeah.
there, put in some, you know what I mean? Like,
some Spanish in there.
yeah. And my point is,
Yeah.
wherever you are in the world, if you hear my music, even if you don't understand the whole song, you
Yeah,
can
but
catch something
you
and
catch
be like,
something. Yeah.
and then music is not only about understanding and lyrics, it's about the feeling.
It's about the feeling. I mean, really, it's really about the feeling. You know, and you're talking about how, you know, the family and everything, but how, in what way do you think the new generation of African artists can make profound impact on the global stage? We've seen, how do you call him, Burna Boy, we've seen Davido, and I'm sure you follow all those guys, you know, but in what way do you think the new generation that you guys are can make an impact in this?
It's really about originality and embracing where you are from. You know what I mean? A lot of people can be like, all right, Nigerians are successful, I'm gonna make Nigerian type music. Or South Africans are successful with
Yeah.
the I'm a piano right now.
Yes, I'm a piano right
I'ma
now.
make that. There's that. You could do that in terms of, as an artist, you have to, you know, kind of follow the way.
Marketing, right?
Yeah, marketing.
Yeah.
I've done a couple I'm a piano songs.
Yeah, yeah,
I have
yeah.
a lot of
There's nothing
Afrobeat
wrong with
songs.
that,
Yeah.
right.
But at the core of
Your music,
as an artist,
you gotta have your
you have-
own.
your own, like, what do you call it? Just, I think it's embrace, as African artists, embrace where you're from. You see what I'm saying? And then even if it's like, I'm from a certain city in a certain country, like embrace that. If that city has a certain type of music, do that type of music, or infuse that type of music into your music.
Don't
that you're
ignore your
already doing.
own, right.
Yeah, because I think what's being misconstrued nowadays is like, all right, whatever's being successful, then that's what we should be doing. But we're in America, right?
Right.
The Americans, they want to hear something different. It doesn't matter. They don't know about I'm a piano. Or
Yeah. They don't know the difference.
They don't know the
between-
difference.
Right.
They just want to hear something different. So if you're from Congo and you got something different, do something different. You're from Liberia and you got
Right.
something different, do that.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're all Africa.
That's right.
see
That's
what I'm
correct.
saying?
Yeah, that's
So-
correct. We still have that feeling.
We still have that.
Connection.
We're one. We're one. We're together, and then it's like it bridges the gaps because it's a lot of the division in terms of, oh, you're from this place, I'm from this place,
Right.
you're from this tribe, I'm from this tribe,
Right.
religion. But at the end of the day, we're all from that one continent.
From that one continent. That's true. Now, Mr. TZ, you were mentioning also about what you call your music or your genre, but are there specific messages or emotions you aim to convey through your music? And you just told us a little bit about how you ensure your authenticity in your songs. But is there any specific message, or how do you sit down and come up about what you're gonna say, write, or sing about?
Usually, I don't really premeditate. Kind of like I listen to the beat, get a vibe, and come up with like flows and melodies and go from there. Now, depending on how I'm feeling, I might say, all right, this is like a love song. Tanzanians are very lovey-dovey, by the way.
Fall in Love is on your song too, right? Fall in Love.
Fall in Love, yeah. One of my other songs. Yeah. But there's also, I try to always have that motivational message. Keep going, don't stop, don't give up. that kind of message is always the underlying message in my music.
And I feel it in this song. Let's listen to it.
Machozi mashavuni yalitiririka, maumivu tele moyoni, sikujua kayatafutika. Ni wewe umekuja kuniokota tena, ni wewe. Nilipotoka hakujali moyo wangu, nilipotoka lichezea akili yangu, nilipotoka hakujali hisia zangu, nilipotoka lumia peke yangu, lakini umefuta we maumivu, umeponya we maumivu, mikwako wewe. Nimefall in love, nimefall in love, nimefall in love, nimefall in love, mikwako wewe. Nimefall in love, nimefall in love,
yeah. My baby leader all up in the past, girl. It's a new leaf, new love, a new world. I give you more kisses, more touches indoors, and we stay low-key cause of that evil eye, girl. Unalinda moyo wangu we, chandarua. Nikikukuona moyo unavazua. Bustani wangu girl, na maua wanimulika moyo zaidi ya jua. Baby, sitaki mapenzi na chakupimbi, ni mimi na wewe na mimi. Machi hii ni chima wa wana wa campi, au Mrs. TZ amnabisha nami. Asikasema mwenyewe machimi ni bingwa, alipotoka hiyo ni draw. Penzi tuimbe tucheze tule hizi raha, mapenzi yankwepa kabo. Nage maumivu nimefuta, let me hold you girl. Two-step with my queen all across the world, it's international, I'm a natural. I came to blow a kiss while she sing the song like,
mikwako wewe. Nimefall in love, nimefall in love, nimefall in love, nimefall in love, mikwako wewe.
Ni Kwako. Mr. TZ, can you share any upcoming project or collaborations that your fans can look forward to?
Man,
before we say goodbye.
I've been working.
You've been
Just
working,
know
huh?
that. I've been working
Bravo.
hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got a lot coming.
Yeah.
Videos, audio, just a lot in general. So main thing is to subscribe to YouTube at Mr. TZ, aka Santi Z, on YouTube. That's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing. Repeat it for them, please.
YouTube, Mr. TZ, aka Santi Z. Yep.
Love
That's
that.
the most important part. Instagram, of course, Mr. TZ Junbei. You'll find all that once you get to the
Once you get into it, you'll find Mr. TZ.
YouTube is most important.
But YouTube is most important. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for
I
the time you've
appreciate
given
you
us,
for having
man. We
me,
appreciate, man. Hey, we had a Martin Luther King Day on Monday. It was an important day, and we had this interview with Mr. Kambale. We're gonna listen to this interview, and he'll tell us all about MLK Day, and we'll be right back.
Martin Luther King.
As we've been telling you all this week, on Monday it was Martin Luther King Day, and today we do have Kambale Msevuli, who's an analyst, and I don't know how to say it in French, but he's the research center on Congo in Kinshasa, right, Kambale?
Yes, Center for Research on the Congo Kinshasa.
Super, Kambale. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to discuss about this week Martin Luther King Day, which is a really special day here in the U.S. and in the world. So I'm just going to go directly to my questions. What aspect of Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and leadership do you find most inspiring and relevant for our time today?
Martin Luther King's vision, right, of seeing a free human being, no matter the color of the race, is something that has always inspired me. In today's world, where we see a lot of people who are compromising values, Dr. King showed us the way decades ago. He fought for the freedom of the black man, the dignity of the black man, the liberty of the black man. But he knew a year before he was killed that even if he fight for the liberation of African Americans, he needed to be connected to the struggle of the oppressed. And I'm speaking specifically about Vietnam. His last speech that he made before he died, where he alluded that I can't just fight for the liberation of people in the United States, knowing that bombs are being dropped on children in Vietnam. That position is missing today, where people are uncompromising when it comes to justice. Because justice is not for a selected few. Justice is for all. And that's the principle, the value that I love about Dr. King, that he was uncompromising when it came to justice for all human beings on this planet.
And that's why we're celebrating him today as well. So you're talking about the speech. How do you think, Kambale, that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream, that speech that still resonates today, right, in the pursuit of social justice, how do you think that still resonates today?
The dream is continuing. There are things that have been achieved, but there are things to still be achieved. Yes, back in Dr. King's time, segregation was much more than today, where a black person could not drink water in the same fountain as a white person. That is not happening today. But we have a different form of oppression today, right? That's why I believe that his dream is continuing. His dream is almost as a testament, if I should say, right? A will for us that we have to always continuously read and check where we are. We are in 2024. Right. What is the reality of the blacks in the United States? One of the most fundamental issues is how blacks in the United States are treated by law enforcement. Now, we saw the killing that actually turned into a global movement, the killing of George Floyd, right? Where everyone around the world was very confused about why in 2024 a black person should still fear for his life when engaging with the law enforcement. So that is why I said that the dream of Dr. King has to be a continuous check, because we have not achieved equality fully. And it has to be a continuous struggle to achieve the equality that Dr. King dreamed of.
Why is today we still celebrating? We're celebrating Dr. King's Day, which is a really important day for commemorating his legacy. How can it influence current discussions on civil rights today, Kambale?
All around the world, focus even in Africa, many people still do not have the most fundamental right. I'm thinking about the people in Western Sahara, right, who are still under colonization, and they're still fighting to be free today. I'm talking about many different African countries, thinking about even what's happening in Sudan today, right? That people are literally dying on a daily basis. Even in DRC, when we think about what is happening in the eastern part of Congo, people are still fighting for that. So the message of civil rights for Dr. King, I don't leave it as a message only for the United States, only for Americans. It's a global message, a global message that tells us that if we want to see something change, we must be part of that change. Dr. King didn't just make speeches. He was actually part of a movement, right? He was leading the Montgomery bus boycott movement, right? He was on the ground demanding that blacks are able to sit in the bus just as any other human being coming to the bus. So beyond the speech, he was very engaged in the society to see those civil rights be achieved. So our message today is we must be engaged for the civil rights of everyone, be it in the United States or around the world, for that to be achieved, not only through speeches, but through concrete actions where we are challenging the status quo, challenging the powers that be to give us the freedom. freedom is not given. It's also, as Frederick Douglass said, no, you have to fight to gain it. If not, power doesn't consider anything without a demand. And our demand is all human beings must be free around the world.
Can you share concrete examples of Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King, ongoing influence on social movement and struggles for equality in today's society, in today's world? I mean, can you share some?
I'm always bringing up the George Floyd killing because it turned into a global movement. When George Floyd was killed, and it was documented through video, and people in the United States and around the world saw what took place, there was a global movement to demand justice for George Floyd. People all around the world, in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, were protesting, right? And this was right in the middle of COVID, right? People were in the street demanding justice. But something fascinating happened in Belgium, that while people were organizing, right, for justice for George Floyd, they were able to connect it to the history of the Congo. How so? They were saying, as we demand justice for George Floyd, it doesn't make any sense that in 2021, we still have a statue of King Leopold II, the King of Belgium, who took control of the Congo after the Berlin Conference and caused the death of over 10 to 15 million Congolese, right? That his statue was all around Belgium. So that movement connected with George Floyd, but also a movement to remove the statue of King Leopold in the years that we are living in, because it doesn't make sense. And that actually forced the King of Belgium, King Philip, to formally put out a statement. One could say it's close to an apology, where he expressed regret for what King Leopold did. But that did not happen just because people wanted to organize around the statue, right? It was connected to the mobilization for civil rights, for human rights in the United States, and that connected everyone around the world. So that's what I'm seeing, that people are connecting issues to make sense of, well, if I'm being killed here, I'm sure someone else is being killed somewhere else, and we must connect these issues together so that all of us can be free.
So all of us can be free. Now, do you, how can Martin Luther King Day celebration contribute to raising awareness about social justice? You know, you just mentioned a few things here you mentioned about George Floyd, but how can Martin Luther King Day celebration contribute to raising awareness about social justice issues and encouraging positive actions?
The courage of Dr. Martin Luther King is what needs to be shared much more broadly. He said things that were unpopular and was uncompromising about it. And today we celebrate him for that, because whenever we do the celebration, most often we stop at the I Have a Dream speech. But we forget that a year before his death, he was so unpopular in the United States. Why? Because he stood up against an injustice, right? While the current did not see that, right? I'm speaking, of course, very broadly, did not see that as an issue. He saw that the war in Vietnam was an issue, right? And he spoke up about it. So when we celebrate him, we should always lift that up. In today's world, that uncompromising position is so important. Many people around the world are silent when they see injustices. Why? Because they see where they are. They may lose their job, they may lose their social status, but they don't realize their silence is betrayal. And that's exactly what Dr. King said, that we cannot remain silent when faced with injustice. So today, that is what's needed for social change anywhere around the world, especially on the African continent, a very young continent where over 70% of the population is under the age of 30. Young people are seeking jobs. They can't find any. They're seeking to improve their conditions. They're not finding way out. And these young people want to transform. the society. That's why we're seeing what's happening in Mali. We're seeing what's happening in Niger. We're seeing what's happening in Burkina Faso. And even in Ghana today, young people are organizing to transform the country. All of them must be uncompromising around justice.
Kambale, do you believe that Dr. King's Jr. Ideals have been fully realized today, or are there still areas where progress is needed?
His ideals are a will to me, right? It's a testament. It's not all fully realized, and it's totally up to us to continue this struggle. One thing that I appreciated from Dr. King, right, is the posture of challenging the status quo in a, I don't know if I should say in an intellectual way, right, in a logical way, and sharing the story of the people, right? So people always have compared him as if that his actions were non-violent, right? But that approach, right, was matched by the support that the people had. Today, as I'm looking at this in the United States society, some people may argue that some of his dreams have been achieved because we've had a black president. We've had, even now the Department of Defense has a black soldier there, with Secretary of State black, and so on. That's not the change, in my view. That's not the change that Dr. King fought for. He didn't fight for blacks to have a social status, right? He fought for every black man. That's what he said even in his I Have a Dream speech, right? Every black boy and every black girl should be free. So no matter your status, wherever you are in the United States, you should not be afraid of the police, right? You should be able to enter any university around the United States. You should have access to job equally to any other race in the United States. Those things are still not achieved, right? So it's now up to us in 2024 to say, we know that he had a dream. We know that there have been some achievement, but not full achievement of his dream, but to continue it. And the caveat, the thing to add, is while we fight to achieve all of the dreams of Dr. King, always remember that it was tied to the liberation of all oppressed around the world, not just the United States. That we live in a global world, right, that we have to connect our struggle to all of the oppressed around the world.
So definitely more work needs to be continued. We need to continue working harder on that. But how can we, as a society, sustain and strengthen Martin Luther King legacy to promote equality and inclusion today? A few cases that you're mentioning, George Floyd and all the other cases. How can we, as a society, sustain the strength of Martin Luther King Day to promote equality and inclusion?
We don't have a choice. The reason why I say we don't have a choice is because we live the worsening of the conditions in our societies. And I'll go global for a second, right? When we look at the challenges of some of the African countries, right? Africa has all the wealth that we can think of around the world. We have freshwater reserve, but people don't have access to water. We can feed the entire world, right? The agricultural capacity of the Congo and even the African continent can feed over 9 billion people, but people are starving. We have the mineral resources to transform the world, yet people are living in abject poverty, right? So the conditions do not even allow us to even say how, because we're living it. We must transform it. So the concrete actions now, when we know that our conditions are worsening and we have no choice but to transform it, is to be engaged in social change. Doesn't necessarily mean that one must become a president. One must become a member of parliament to transform the society. Right in your neighborhood, you can transform the society. Right? One will say, for example, let's bring about humanitarian support. Bring the well. Yes, we will bring the well so people can have the water, but we should question why we didn't have the water in the first place. and mobilize around changing the narrative. Because if we don't solve the problem of the why we did not have the water, we will assume that the humanitarian support is what's going to bring about change. The why will expose that there is a selected few who control all the wealth and all the decisions, while the vast majority are suffering. That's the challenge of the 2024 or the 21st century, that the masses must organize and mobilize so that they know the whys of why the condition is getting worse and transform it while providing, in the short term, the humanitarian support that's needed.
Very well. So since we continue celebrating this special day, in what ways can the celebration of Dr. King's Day serve as a catalyst, if I should say, for meaningful conversations about diversity and inclusion?
I will send everyone to Dr. Bernice King's posting, right? She's been posting about her father, right? About what he stood for. And she's reminding us that if Dr. King was alive today, Dr. King will not be silent around injustices taking place around the world. And I'm saying this in the context of even what's happening in Palestine at the moment, right? That we all have to see the humanity of everyone. In the Congo, where millions have died. In Sudan, where millions are suffering at the present time. In the Western Sahara, right? That today, that's what's needed. That we should not be silent around injustices. And as Dr. King said, silence is betrayal. And as silence allows for the suffering to continue. So standing up around injustice is what's necessary today to live the ideals and vision of Dr. Martin Luther King in 2024.
Thank you very much, Kambale Msavuli. Let me remind everybody again that you're an analyst from Research Center, correct? On Congo and Kinshasa. Words are just... all I know is that you also done a lot as far as the Congolese, culture, Congolese voices, and as a human rights advocate as well. You've done stuff like that, and now you're based in Ghana now, right?
Yes, I'm based in Ghana. I'm learning about Kwame Nkrumah.
Oh my God, how is it going in Ghana? Well, because a lot of Ghanaians are listening to us tonight, and you based in Ghana now. I have a lot of followers in Accra. How are things going there?
Ghana is Africa's hope. If the Ghanaian youth and the Ghanaian people are able to transform and surmount the challenges that they're facing right now, it will transform the continent. Wow. Ghana has a vast history, right?
True.
With Kwame Nkrumah, the first head of state, who supported a lot of the liberation movement. But today, right, the challenge of the cost of living increasing in Ghana, the cost of electricity, but I'm still seeing the vibrant youth who are standing up, who are organizing, why they're saying, they have their Occupy movement inside of the country. But you also have social movement within Ghana, right, who are trying to transform. So with the current of what's happening in West Africa is looking into the youth of Ghana to be able to determine the next leader of Ghana, but not only that, to also transform what is happening in West Africa so that there can be a new Africa. I'm very inspired by the African youth. I'm very inspired by the Ghanaian youth. And I'm very happy that they are so hospitable that they took me into their homes and share with me the history about even the connection with that we have Congolese who came to Ghana from 1960 to 65.
Wow.
And they were getting scholarships, right? Wow. And they want to study in Guinea. I didn't know this history that we have Congolese who came. So I'm very happy with what they are sharing with me there, and I'm hopeful that the Ghanaian people will be able to transform the country.
Well, I'm hoping that I'll come to see you there. That's what I can hope.
Yes, you are welcome. Akwaba.
Akwaba. Thank you, Kambale. Thank you so much. Always a pleasure to have you on the RM Show. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kambale Musavuli. That was a great interview with the great Kambale Musavuli. Before we close the show, George, it's always a pleasure to see you here. You just followed that interview. Martin Luther King Day, a special day for all Americans, and a great celebration. And Kambale was telling us why it's so important today. And I'm sure, knowing you for all these years, I know it's a special day for you too.
Yes, Roger, I would like to say hello to our viewers in Takoradi, in Accra, in Kumasi, in Ghana, and all over the continent. Yes, of course, the dream, the LMAK dream is still on. We are still carrying on that dream. It's because of that dream that I'm here today in America.
That we all here.
Yeah, so thanks to those who fought for us, But as Kambale just said, we have to engage. We just have to, you have to engage in that movement to change, to break the, to break the glass, the ceiling, and to move forward. Because if we want Africa to develop, we want Africa to, to prosper, we have to engage ourselves. Youth have to engage themselves instead of, running out to go to Europe, migration, taking the boat and dying, desperately in seas like Red Sea or in the ocean.
How do you think, George, that Martin Luther King's speech or teaching resonate in the Africans today to Africans? How do they, how did that resonate in Africans here today?
It sounds so great because when he said, I have a dream, the dream is still on. People are hoping for a better future. And I like the way Kambale said, Ghana is Africa hope.
Yeah.
I think I will say Ghana is the one who started, the slavery. I don't blame the white people, those who went there to get. It was African kings' fault because those kings were the people, because they were the first one to sell human beings to trade. It's not a European fault. Of course, later on, they take advantage because if you were the first to sell me, your fellow brother, and then I come back to you anytime. I was reading a book, Rosa, the book were wrote by a professor from South Carolina University. It's called Rice and Slavery. What
did he say?
In the book, they said that, explaining how, slavery started in Africa. So when they were in the village, okay, that's the like a little resume about the book. They say, okay, those who were not, respectful, those who were not respecting elders, when they come to say, okay, we need people to, ship them to Europe or to ship them to America, they were like, okay, send them. They grab men, women, those who were like bandit. Okay? They were not respecting elders. They were the first one they were selling.
The first one to go.
Yeah, to go. So, and the kings, for what? For a little lentils, a little packet of sugar,
right.
you sell.
Right.
So Ghana have to bring back. That's why Ghana, if you remember, in I think a few years ago, like 3 years now, they were like
bring back
year of return.
Yeah, year of return.
And they have to. So you sell them, bring them back. So it's like a revolution right now. So to come back to the dream, MLK dream is still on, and the dream is never achieved. We have to fight.
To keep that, to make that dream complete.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really important, and Kambale said it so well as well, and I think that's why it was important that day becomes a special day,
and
a celebration, a day commemoration,
community service day.
Exactly, become really an important day, for students also. I mean, youth, the kids who never really understood what Dr. King was trying to
achieve.
To accomplish, to teach us.
Exactly.
But great time. Thank you so much, Georgia, and it's always great to have you.
My pleasure.
Hope to have you next week again with some new upcoming news, of course, and great guests in this show. We have so many upcoming guests, so you and I were talking about that.
Exactly.
So many upcoming guests, so that'd be great. I want to thank those who are following us, and I want to thank Mr. Zubair, Michelle, Joseph, and is Bob still doing our video? Helen is doing our video. Okay, I want to thank Helen as well. She's amazing. Helen is fast, man. She's sharp. She's always on my toe. Helen, thanks, man. Thanks for what Helen does. That's right. All right, so we started to close out the show. Born Mellow, we didn't have a chance to have you today. Born Mellow, if you listen to us in Zambia, we will have you next week. You are our guest next week. Born Mellow in Zambia is listening to us. He's an artist, so please don't go. Guess where we have to go? And can only say good night to all my friends in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, in Ghana. Please don't go. We got to go. God bless. Peace, Africa.